All right, let's jump right in. What we're seeing right now, it's not just another trend, it's a once-in-a-generation shift. You've got these two massive parallel universes of finance that are finally starting to connect. Over here, you have the titans of Wall Street, and over there, you've got the pioneers of Web 3. So today, we're going to break down the trillion-dollar bridge that's being built to link them.
So to really wrap your head around just how big this opportunity is, you got to start with this number, $100 trillion. That's the estimated value of all the assets managed by traditional finance. It's just a colossal, almost unimaginable amount of money, right? And that's exactly what's at stake in this whole transformation. And here they are, those two worlds side by side. On the left, you've got your traditional finance. I mean, it's massive, it's established, but it's also stuck in the past, right? 9 to 5 business hours, huge barriers to entry. Then on the right, you've got decentralized finance. It's fast, it's global, it's open 24/7, and it's built for anyone, anywhere to innovate. They're like two completely different operating systems for money.
So the big question is, how do you possibly connect these two? I mean, how do you take the sheer scale and all those assets from Wall Street and plug them into the modern, super efficient infrastructure of Web 3? Well, the answer, and the key to this whole thing, is something called real-world assets, or RWAs, and that's what this explainer is all about.
Okay, here's the plan for today. First, we'll look at how Wall Street is meeting Web 3. Then we'll define exactly what real-world assets are. We'll even zoom in on a crypto-native pioneer, $TBH. After that, we'll see how the giants are building out this space, talk about the 24/7 trading revolution this is kicking off, and finally, we'll size up this whole trillion-dollar bridge.
All right, first up, Wall Street meets Web 3. And the most important thing to get here is that this isn't some far-off prediction. Nope, the RWA market is absolutely exploding, like right now.
And this number just says it all, 566%. That's the growth in the total value locked in RWAs in just 22 months. It shot up from $1.5 billion to over $10 billion. This isn't some slow, gradual change, folks. This is a full-on land rush.
Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. What exactly are real-world assets? Well, put simply, it's all about taking things from the physical and financial world and turning them into digital tokens on a blockchain.
So here's the more formal definition. See, unlike a cryptocurrency whose value is totally native to its own network, an RWA token gets its value from something that exists off-chain. Think about a U.S. Treasury bond, a skyscraper in New York, or even a business loan. The token is basically just a digital IOU, a representation of your claim on that real-world thing.
Now, what's really fascinating when you look at this chart is just how diverse this market already is. It's not just one thing. Private credit, that's the biggest piece of the pie right now, and it's solving huge liquidity problems. You've also got a massive appetite for tokenized U.S. Treasuries, real estate, commodities, and then there's this really interesting emerging category called crypto treasury strategies. They take a slightly different approach, so let's dig into that one.
Okay, so let's drill down into that category. And what better way to understand this than with a real case study? We're going to look at a company called House of Doge, ticker symbol TBH, which represents a really cool crypto-native approach to this whole concept.
So here's the key innovation with this one. Instead of forcing a traditional investor to figure out how to buy some complex on-chain token, TBH packages crypto exposure inside a vehicle they already get, something they already trust, a publicly traded stock, right on the NASDAQ. This is huge because it just leapfrogs all those hurdles around custody, taxes, and regulation.
This table really lays out the difference perfectly. You know, on one hand, you have tokenized treasuries. They offer pretty low, stable yields. Then you have real estate, offering moderate returns. But the TBH model, it's built for high appreciation potential. Its value is tied to this massive treasury of over 730 million Doge, and its yield comes from crypto-native stuff like staking and lending. It's a true hybrid, right? It blends the easy access of a traditional stock with the crazy high yield potential of crypto.
And it's not just about holding the asset and hoping it goes up. The whole strategy is to create this self-reinforcing cycle, this flywheel. The huge treasury attracts major partners, right? Then those partners help create real-world uses for Doge, like being able to pay for things with it. That utility drives adoption, which in turn increases the asset's value and, you guessed it, that grows the treasury even more so they can fund more growth. It's a brilliant loop. Okay, let's pull back out for a second. This kind of innovation isn't just happening in some small corner of the internet. The real story here is that the giants of finance are now stepping in and building the institutional backbone for this entire RWA revolution. So who's actually building this bridge?
Well, you've got BlackRock, the biggest asset manager on the planet, launching its own tokenized funds. You've got Square, building the payment bridge for millions and millions of merchants. And you've got Coinbase, providing that super secure, regulated custody that big institutions absolutely demand. These are the pillars holding the whole thing up.
And this shows you perfectly how all the pieces fit together. It's like a supply chain. Step 1, banks and funds originate the assets. Step 2, Coinbase provides the secure infrastructure to turn them into tokens. Step 3, Square provides the distribution network to all its merchants. And finally, Step 4, everyday people can actually use them for payments. It's a seamless flow all the way from Wall Street to Main Street. Now, this brings us to what might be the single biggest, most mind-blowing impact of RWAs, the 24/7 trading revolution. Seriously, this is about fundamentally rewriting the rules of how and when capital can move around the globe.
Just look at this contrast. It's insane. Traditional stock markets like the NYSE or NASDAQ are only open for trading about a third of the year. A third! Once you factor in nights, weekends, and holidays. RWA markets, because they're built on blockchain, run 100% of the time, 24/7, 365. This isn't just a small improvement. It's a complete paradigm shift.
And the economic impact of that shift? It's just staggering. Research suggests that moving to 24/7 markets could unlock an extra $4 to $7 trillion in global liquidity. That means capital is no longer trapped, just sitting there waiting for the opening bell on Monday morning.
So what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, in today's system, if you sell a stock, it can take 2 whole days to settle. That means your money is literally locked up, out of action, doing nothing for you. With RWAs, settlement is pretty much instant, and that means your capital can be put back to work immediately, creating a way faster, way more efficient financial system for absolutely everyone. Okay, let's bring it all home and look to the future. We've been talking about this trillion-dollar bridge, so let's actually put some real numbers on just how big this new world of tokenized finances is expected to get.
The projected growth here is, well, it's exponential. We're sitting at around $12 billion today. By 2030, that's expected to hit $1 trillion. $1 trillion. And by 2035, some forecasts are predicting this market could be worth as much as $50 trillion. That is the unbelievable scale of the transformation we are watching unfold right now.
So to wrap this all up, this is so much more than just some niche crypto trend. What we're talking about is the foundational plumbing of global finance being rebuilt from the ground up to be more efficient, more accessible, and always on. The bridge is being built as we speak. So the only real question left is, are you watching?